Hello, YouTube. um, it's a couple of years ago, back in 2017. New owners bought Glenallachie distillery. Same folks who previously owned Benriach and Glendronach. About a year after that, they put out a new line of products, which I just didn't pay attention to until a little bit recently. The thing is, when I noticed that among those products was a 10-year-old cask strength they were selling for $60, my first thought was, oh my God, I've somehow time traveled back to 2012, and I need to somehow distract everyone from Gangnam Style for long enough to warn them about COVID-19 and tell them that Game of Thrones is probably not worth the effort and things like that. Yeah, I mean, there were tons of cask strength whiskeys, a lot of them with age statements, running around in that sort of $50 to $70 price range, 8 or 10 years ago. And since then, they've all kind of dried up. Anyways, more about that in a second. What I'm going to do is try this guy neat. This is batch 1 at 57.1% alcohol, so I won't be trying it neat for very long. But try it neat, add a couple squirts of water, try it again, give you a score. Okay, so here we go. Okay, Speyside. It just smells like Speyside single malt. I'm not missing this one on a blind taste. I mean, you've got apples, pears, pepper, like white pepper, more than black. Honeys, tons of like wildflower honeys, but also some like honeydew honeys, like bitter honeys, heavy honeys. Golden raisins, like a little bit of a dried grass note. People associate dried grass with the lowlanders, but it shows up in Highland and particularly in Speyside whiskeys a lot. Dried apricot, little hint of green ginger. That they didn't mention they're using a little bit of virgin oak in the mix. It's not overwhelming this. It's not ruining it. It's just throwing a little bit of ginger in here. Wood smoke, kind of a sort of breakfast cereal kind of thing, like raisin bran, but also frosted mini wheats. More raisin bran. Kind of like an old tea bag kind of note. Let's give it a little bit on the palate. Okay. Again, this is Speyside. There's a lot of different woods playing around. I got the feeling that after they bought the distillery, they re-racked a whole bunch of stock. The bourbon casks are still ruining this, but it's kind of a potpourri of things running in different directions. You're getting, apple and pear, and honey and pepper again. Kind of a wood bitter note, like you just bit into some or just sucked on some unaged wood. Kind of like wood sour too, like that sort of wood sourness. Yeah, but then golden raisins again. It's kind of like dried cherries more so than like prunes. Let's go with dried cherries. Kind of throw an orange twist in there. Not a lot of orange, but a little dose of orange. More the twist, the zest than the pulp. Kind of a hint of actual bourbon in here. It's not like Heaven Hill stock, maybe. kind of like vanilla Coke, actually. Like take your Coca-Cola and put some vanilla in it, and that's a little bit of what you're getting on in here. Okay, I like it. It's yummy. Like I said, it's the core of this is bourbon matured Speyside, but it's also kind of got a bunch of little niggles and details in there, which are a little bit fun. So I'm going to give this a couple squirts. Let's try 5. I'll add a little more if this isn't enough. One more. That's kind of what you have to do with adding water. You have to try it, and if it's too hot, you add a little more. Okay, let that rest for a little bit. So I'm going to be honest with you. The reason I'm reviewing this, I've had this in the cabinet for a couple of months now. But the reason I'm reviewing this now is really because of this guy, Year Cask Strength 10-year-old. I'm not going to review this because, frankly, I mean, if you're watching this, you kind of know what this is. So as I said when I opened this up, it's not that long ago that there were just a ton of cask strength, often 10-year-old or often they would use non-age statements to give themselves a little flexibility, but often they were 10-year-old cask strength whiskeys, right around that $60 price range. Except for this, which is new. Lefroy was always the one that kind of stuck around the longest. It was always kind of $65 for a while, and I just kind of checked the new one, which has just come out, and it's hopped up to 80. So that's a $15 increase. I think that's part of the one of the symptoms of the Trump tariffs kicking in. 25% tariffs on Scotch. So if you're a Scotch drinker and you're also a Trump supporter and you're wondering, why all your whiskey is getting really expensive all of a sudden, that's you. That's you. You did that, and I hope you're very happy sticking it to the snobs overseas by paying an extra 25% on your whiskey. Anyways, moving on. But I don't think they're going to sort of drop their prices, after things move on. Because, I mean, everything's moved back up. It's just kind of following the market. So, I mean, one question to ask is just, I'll go back to this in a second. Like, why have, cask strength whiskeys? Because you don't sell a lot of them. Because, the branch managers, who just want to throw something over ice at the end of the day, they're not going to buy something at 60% alcohol, right? So you're not going to move a lot of volume. Why have a product like this in your portfolio? I'll answer that in a second, but let's go back to this guy, which is now opening up and developing nicely. Okay, more raisins now. Kind of more raisin bran too, actually. Marzipan, which is that sort of sugary almond paste stuff. It's nice. Rice pudding here actually is starting to show up. Coffee, like Salvadoran coffee beans, maybe Guatemalan, something in that area. Lightly roasted. Something floral in here, like a dried flower note. There's lots of stuff going on, but it's I think because of the cask construction. But I mean, the core of this is straight up Speyside. I mean, you're not, if you like that style, this is your jam. On the palate, kind of the same. Gets more peppery, a little sweeter. Wood smoke, actually, and more grass coming out on the finish, like dried grass. It's nice. A little more floral. yeah, kind of like a Turkish delight note in there. But it also gets a little bit stuffy on the finish. There's a little bit of an old gym sock um, in the finish, which isn't helping it. But this is let me give it one more shot. Mm. Nice vanilla cokey, berry, appley thing, and then gets a little bitter on the finish. Still great. Not great, but great for $60. I'm gonna give this. This is a textbook 85. This is not what you marry, but it's a terrific summer romance. Um, yeah, I hope other producers follow the example in this not too expensive cask strength whiskey. Anyways, back to my question: why do you release these things, right? Because you're not going to sell a lot. The reason is because nerds love these. Nerds, and then we don't have a lot of money, right? Because so in the car industry, right? There's this concept of the halo car, which is the car you build on the thought that you're not going to sell a lot of them. You're not going to make a whole lot of money on them directly, right? But they bring attention to the brand because they get people excited about the brand, and then the nerds tell everyone, oh, go buy a Chevy. Have you heard anything? Have you heard about the new mid-engine Corvette or whatever? And you don't sell a lot of mid-engine Corvettes, but you do sell a lot of Malibus. That's the idea of a halo car. And the best ones, in my opinion, have not been the sort of super expensive ones. They haven't been the Bugattis that Volkswagen used to get people excited. It's been like the Miatas, the MX-5s. I mean, the best British roadster ever made comes from Japan, and it's a Mazda. They don't sell a lot of them, but the very fact that a normal person could buy something like that, again, still doesn't sell a lot of cars, but sells a lot of Mazda 3s. That's what a cask strength, a low-priced, youngish cask strength whiskey is. It's something to get the nerds excited, so that when the branch managers start to get bored of whatever it is they're throwing over rocks every night, they start asking around and looking at online reviews, which are the nerds write. They get told, oh, Macallan's great, right? Macallan has this 10-year-old cask strength. And you should go buy it. Lefroy's great, 10-year-old cask strength. And of course they don't buy the cask strength one. They go for the regular cheapie, but that's kind of the idea. Macallan is actually a textbook example of this, right? They had a cask strength up until I think 2012, and it was very, very good. I thought it was my favorite of their whole range. And then they killed it right about the time when they started, they were already sort of getting leery with the Fine Oak series, and they started bringing out things with no age statement, just called like gold, amber. That's how you kill a brand. You get the nerds hating you, and they tell all their friends, no, don't buy that. That's crap, and it's marketing nonsense. Go buy Glendronach or something like that instead. Anyhow, I'm babbling. Coming back to the point. Not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. This is just a wonderfully, a wonderful expression of Speyside, delicious purity. And if you like that, you're gonna like this. I don't think it's the sexiest style these days. People want peat or whatever. But I mean, it's a great deal. Let's put it that way. I think this is a great deal, and that's kind of all I got. Thanks for watching. Continue being nerdy, and cheers.